Hello class, in this video we plan to cover the whole chapter 9 measurement. All the three sections 9.1, 9.2 and 9.3. Let's firstly go to my table note. In my table note of this chapter, I include two methods, measurement conversion. I include two methods for converting before measurements. The first method is called this dimensional analysis method. That method is provided by our textbook. But in this video, I do not use that method at all. Reason is because that method is not really convenient. Instead, I'm going to use my method, the second method on the table note. I'm going to use the conversion factor to convert between measurements, either multiply or divide by the conversion factor. Then what is a conversion factor? I'm going to explain what is conversion factor when we look at specific problems. All right. So firstly, let's go to the first section, 9.1. We focus on solving the examples. Through solving the examples, we learn the method. How do we identify conversion factor? How do we use it to convert from one unit to the other unit? That's the purpose of this video. Double check, I'm not muted. And it is recording. Okay. So the first section, measuring metric length. Length is a one-dimensional concept. So in this section, we convert between one-dimensional measurements. In America, United States use the English system. Inch, feet, yard, miles. In many other countries, they use the metric system. So we will see problems that convert between the two systems. So let's go directly to the first example. Again, this video focuses on the second method, my method, multiplying or dividing by the conversion factor when we need to convert from one unit to the other unit. We do not use the first method that the textbook covers. Let's look at this example. Convert the following using, okay, do not worry about the method. Just convert the following. So part A, we are going to convert from 40 inches to feet, from inch to feet. We all know how many inches in 1 feet? 1 foot. When you work on this type of problem, they will give you the conversion identity. Okay, the conversion identity. For example, 12 inches equals 1 foot. Well, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. That is an identity. Okay, from the identity, we can identify the conversion factor. The conversion factor in this case between inch and foot is 12. Okay, the two units, inch and foot. In front of foot, you have a number 1. In front of inches, you have number 12. So there are 12 inches in 1 foot. 12 is the conversion factor. Another thing we can identify through this identity is, through this equation is, among or between those two units, which unit is bigger, which unit is smaller. Think about how much is 1 foot. If you go to Subway, the length of 1 foot-long sandwich, that is 1 foot, right? A big foot. An inch is instead is a smaller unit, like your thumb. From the tip of your thumb to the first, how do you say that? So that is 1 inch, okay? So obviously, inch is a smaller unit by common sense. So very, very important thing I want you to remember, and probably the only main thing I want you to remember is the number in front of a smaller unit is bigger. The number in front of a bigger unit is smaller. As you see right here, foot is a bigger unit. Inch is a smaller unit. That's the reason the number in front of foot, 1, is smaller because the unit is bigger. And the number in front of inch, 12, is a bigger number. Compared with 1, 12 is bigger. Okay, let me say it again, where I can actually type right here. Well, you know what? I have this sentence in my table note. So, or I can write it down again here. So very, very important. We need to remember the number in front of the bigger unit is smaller, and the number in front of preceding the smaller unit, because we're converting between two units, right? The one is a smaller unit, the other is a bigger unit. And the number in front of the smaller unit must be a bigger number. Must be bigger. Right? So please have this written on maybe your note or memorized right now. So we're going to use the conversion factor 12 to solve the first problem, okay? Let's go back to this question. From inch to feet, from inch to foot, from a smaller unit to a bigger unit. So the number in front of the foot is going to be bigger or smaller. Since the foot is a bigger unit, the number in front of it is going to be smaller, right? So the factor is 12. So are we going to multiply 40 by 12 or divide 40 by 12? That can give us a smaller number because, again, foot is a bigger unit. You can easily determine that. If you multiply 40 by 12, you get a very large number. No, we are not multiplying. We are dividing, okay? We are dividing. Only when we divide 40 by the conversion factor 12, we will have a smaller number, and that number is going to be in front of the feet. Okay, so let's use the calculator. Do you have a calculator with you? To save the time, I'm going to use a handheld calculator, and I hope you do the same thing. So let's do that together. 40 divided by 12. 3.33 repeating, okay? 3.33 repeating. Or I can convert that to a fraction. 3 and 1/3. Or 3.33 repeating. Really depends on how do you round the number. So we have, if we round it to the nearest tenth, we have 3.3. So the answer is 40 inches is around equal to 3.3 feet. And that's your answer. When you work on the problems in MATLAB Math, they will give you a very clear, specified instruction about how do you round your value. Sometimes we get a whole number or a finite decimal. Sometimes we get an infinite decimal, like in this case, then you would have to find out how do you round the number. Does that make sense? Let me repeat it. So we are going to convert from inch to feet. Since inch is a smaller unit, feet or foot is a bigger unit. So the number in front of foot is going to be a smaller number. How do we use the factor 12 to get us a smaller number? Yeah, we must divide 40 by 12 to get a smaller number. If we multiply 40 by 12, we will have a large number, and that doesn't make any sense. So we have around 3.3 feet in 40 inches. Don't worry, we're gonna repeatedly applying this method. You will eventually grasp this method, and it's very convenient. You don't have to use fractions. The first method use a lot of fractions, and I know how much students hate fractions. So I strongly recommend that you grasp my method. When you see this in the homework, when you see using a specific method like that, just ignore it, all right? Just ignore it. Part B, we are going to convert 13,200 feet to its equivalent miles. Okay, so firstly, we have to find the conversion factor between feet and miles. Those information, that kind of information normally is given by the problem. Feet to mile. You probably know that since you use this English system. I grew up using the metric system, so I have to look it up. So 5,280. Yeah, that's a good number to remember, even it's not very convenient. 5280 feet in 1 mile. 5280 feet in 1 mile. All right, so we can see the conversion factor is 5,280. And you might wonder, what about the 1? Don't you use 1 at all? No. The number that different from 1, that number is the conversion factor. Let me write down the definition one more time. Conversion factor. In some occasions, both of the two numbers are 1. Then in that case, the conversion factor is just 1. So in this case, the number different from 1, which is 5,280. That's our conversion factor, all right? We are going to either multiply this number by the factor or divide by the factor to answer the question. Okay, so let's compare. Feet is a smaller unit. Mile is a bigger unit. Compare with each other, okay? Miles is a very bigger unit, obviously. It's very, long. Yeah, mile is a bigger unit. So you want a number in front of a mile smaller. In order to get a number in front of mile smaller, so are you going to multiply 13,200 by 5,280 or divide by? And we are going to divide it by, okay? So we're going to divide 13,200 by 5,280 because we want to have a smaller number. Okay, we got a smaller number, 2.5. So there are 2.5 miles, plural, in 13,200 feet. That makes perfect sense, right? Do you grasp the key of this method? Yeah, between the two units you are given, compare which unit is bigger, which unit is smaller. And remember, the number in front of the bigger unit must be smaller. The number in front of the smaller unit must be bigger. And that's all you need to know. Then you're going to either multiply the given number in front of the first unit by or divide by the factor to get the number that you want. Part C. From inch to yard, And what's the conversion between inch and yard, the identity? Yeah, 36 inches in 1 yard because 3 feet in 1 yard. So 36 inches in 1 yard. Yeah, again, that kind of information normally is given in the problem. So for convenience, I'm going to copy down here. 36 inches in 1 yard. So the conversion factor is 36. Conversion factor is 36. All right. So we go from inch to yard. Yard is bigger. So the number in front of yard is going to be smaller. In order to get a smaller number, we want to divide 9 by 36. All right, divide 9 by 36. So 9 inches should be equal to, divide 9 by 36, because yard is a bigger unit. The number in front of it supposed to be smaller. If you multiply 9 by 36, you get a large number. It doesn't make sense. You have to divide 9 by 36, and that gives you a quarter, right? 9 over 30 is 1 over 4, is 0.25 yards. Next question. So this part explain how many centimeters in 1 inch in 1 inch. Centimeter is a unit in the metric system, and inch obviously is a unit in English system. So you know, I do not remember a lot of things, but I remember this. I remember this relationship. What relationship? They are 2.54. Actually, it's approximately, but we just ignore the error. So we have 2.54 centimeter in 1 inch. I do not remember a lot of things, but I remember this one. It's because I use that as the bridge that connect the two systems, metric system and English system. Yeah, how many, you know how much is 1 inch, right? And think about how much is going to be 1 centimeter. It's around the length of the nail of your thumb, right? In case you suppose you do not have a Medicare, like the nail, so that's around equal to 1 centimeters. As I said, let's focus on solving the examples. Those information are pretty useful to your real life. Depends on your professions. If you let's say you work on medical field and you are a nurse, you probably calculate milliliters. That's going to be the next section. Milliliters, cc, those a lot. So make sure you read through those information. It's pretty interesting. They are useful and interesting. We just do not have the time to go over those details in the video. Okay. Yeah. So what if we are converting units within the metric system? One advantage of using metric system is they are different by a power of 10. They are different by a power of 10. And I think is important, kind of useful to know those metric premises. Okay, what is the word called? What is the word? Yeah, prefixes. Sorry, prefixes. Yeah. So K stands for kilo, kilogram, kilometer, right? Kiloliter. Yeah, kilo means actually 1,000 times bigger than the base unit. And H, hecto, hector. You can look it up. Is 100 times bigger than the base unit. And deca, DA, 10 times bigger than the base unit. Decimeter, that is 10% of the base unit. Centimeter is 1% of the base unit. And milliliter is 1 out of 1,000th of the base unit. So you want to know those, especially if you live in a country that uses metric system, or you are going to visit a country using metric system. You want to know those metric prefixes. Okay, yeah, kilo, hector, deca, deci, centi, milli. Okay, and within metric system, converted between those units, we have a trick. And if there's one thing you need to remember about chapter 9 before you take test 2, I want you to remember this. Okay, I want you to remember this graph within the metric system. You see that? I think there's a trick to remember that. King Henry dies on Monday, drinking what? So what is the trick says? Medicine. And let me find the trick that we can remember this. Yeah, King Henry died Monday drinking chocolate milk. Okay, yeah, whatever the method you apply, you want to remember this graph because of the reason, because of the test 2, a couple of questions you need to use this. Okay, let's see how do we use this diagram that I had in yellow to convert units within the metric system. So part A, convert the following measures. Convert 504.7 meters to kilometers. Okay. So as you can see, for meters, this is meters, right? This is kilometers, right? So we go from meters to kilometers. We go to the left, right? Yeah, we go to the left from meter to kilometers. We go to the left 3 times, right? Okay. All we need to do is to move the decimal point in 504.7 to the left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Same thing. So we got a 0.5047 kilometers. You see that? Yeah. Use this diagram. From meter to kilometer, we go 3 times to the left. So we just simply move the decimal point in a number of meters to the left 3 times as well. Okay? Yeah, because a kilometer is a bigger unit. We want a number in front of smaller. How much smaller? 1,000 times smaller. Part B, convert 27 meters to centimeters. Okay, so we use the same diagram. From meters to centimeters. From meters, this meters. This centimeters. We go to the right twice, right? Same thing. Move the decimal point in 27 to the right twice. And we got the 2700, right? Yeah. So 27 meters is the same with 2700 centimeters. Part C, convert 704 millimeters to hectometers. My pronunciation might not be very accurate, and you can totally Google. Actually, let me check what is hectometer pronounce. Hector. Yeah, it doesn't pronounce as O.
Hectometer.
Hectometer. Okay, hectometer. So not O is like hectometer. All right, let's go back. We're converting from millimeters to hectometer. Okay, let's use the same method. Millimeter is the smallest metric unit right here, millimeter. Go from millimeter to hectometer. Where's hectometer? It's right here. King, right? Second one. So from millimeter to HM, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times to the left. Then we have 704, right? The number in front of millimeters. This is a decimal point, right? Yeah, we move the decimal point to the left 5 times as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The zero holder places. So the answer is going to be 0.00704 hectometers. It's a good method, right? Within metric system. All you need to do is to move the decimal point, same direction. Next, part D, convert 9.71 decameters to decimeters. Deca to deci. Use the same graph. Deca is here, okay? To deci is here. So deca to deci is to the right twice. Deca to deci, move to the right twice. So we're going to move the decimal point to the right twice. The answer is going to be 971. 9.71. Move the decimal point to the right twice. Yeah, make the number 100 times bigger. We have 971. Because decimeter is a smaller unit, so the number in front of it must be bigger. How much bigger? 100 times bigger. Okay, so next question. Do not use this method. Yeah, whatever method to change to and from the metric system. Okay, same as earlier, right? Oh, okay, so no, this one is from English system to metric system. So we are going to convert 8 inches to centimeters. I remember we have 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. So what's the conversion factor? This is the factor, right? And compare with inch. Is a centimeter a smaller unit or bigger unit? Since the number in front of centimeter is bigger than 1, so centimeter is a smaller unit compared with inch. All right? So centimeter is a smaller unit compared with inch. So the number in front of centimeter is going to be bigger. So how do we make the bigger? Make the number 8 bigger. Multiply, right? Yeah. Use your calculator, please. The number of inches, we go from inch to centimeter. Since centimeter is a smaller unit, the number in front of it is going to be bigger. How much bigger? 2.54 times bigger. So we multiply 8 by 2.54. Use your calculator to see if you have the same number. 20.32 centimeters. All right. Part B, convert 125 miles to kilometers. You know, I remember this as well. That's another thing I remember between the two systems. 1 mile is around equal to, but that's just for convenience, just use equal to. 1 mile equal to 1.6 kilometers, kilometers. So compare with miles, is kilometers a bigger unit or smaller unit? As you can see, it's actually approximately equal to, but just for convenience, sometimes we just use equal. It will not give you any incorrect result. So 1 mile is around equal to 1.6 kilometers, right? So compare with mile, kilometer is a smaller unit. It is a smaller unit. So the number in front of it is supposed to be bigger. That's how do we know? We are going to multiply by 1.6. We are going to multiply 125 by 1.6. That gives us 200 kilometers. In your vehicle, in your car, there should be a setting you can change from miles to kilometers. Here we use miles, right? Yeah, you change just in a safe place driving, change the miles to kilometers, you'll see the numbers super big. And when you are actually driving slowly, the number, the speed shows very big because kilometer is a bigger unit. Sorry, is a smaller unit, okay? Smaller unit. That's why the number in front of it is bigger. Part C, convert 26,800 millimeters to inches. Do we have the identity, the equation between millimeters to inches? We don't, but we can go from millimeters to centimeters easily, right? 26,800 millimeter to centimeters. Millimeter to centimeter, simply just drop a zero. 2,680 centimeters. Okay, because centimeters is 10 times bigger than millimeter. And from centimeters to inches, remember inch is a bigger unit, right? And this is the factor, same factor, 2.54. So inch is a bigger unit, and the number in front of is supposed to be smaller. So we want to make the number 2,680 smaller. How many times smaller? 2.54 times smaller. So we divide by 2.54. And that gives me a decimal. We would have to round it. Let's keep 2 decimal places. 1055.12. When you work on your homework, you will not get confused. How do I round it? Because they will always give you a very accurate, specific guideline about the rounding. From centimeter to inch, yeah, because inch is a bigger unit, so we need a smaller number in front of it. So this number we got supposed to be 2.54 times smaller than this unit, this number in front of centimeters. Next, part 8. The speed limit on many highways in the United States is 55 miles per hour. 55 miles per hour. Okay, allow me to write the speed in this way as a fraction. Okay, so we are going to convert the speed limit 55 miles per hour to the equivalent amount in kilometers per hour. So we want kilometers per hour. As you can see, the denominator remains the same, right? Yeah, hour is still hour. We mainly need to convert from miles to kilometers. Do you remember the conversion factor? There's around 1.6 kilometers in 1 miles, right? So the factor is 1.6. The factor is 1.6. Kilometers is a smaller unit, so we need a bigger number. So 55 times 1.6. Let's see, what is 55 times 1.6? Using my method, you can quickly convert between units. And you don't have to use fractions. All right, so the number is 88. 88. If you travel in a country and the speed limit is 88 kilometers per hour, do not mistake that as 88 miles per hour and put yourself in danger. All right, so that's part A. Part B. If a high-speed train in Japan can travel at 200 kilometers per hour, so the given value is in kilometers per hour. And we need to convert that to miles per hour, okay? Yeah, when you travel in Japan, let's say, yeah, this is Japan. You see the speed is 200 kilometers per hour. You want to know how many miles per hour that is. Same thing, denominator remains the same. We do not have to do anything in the denominator. We only need to convert from kilometers to miles. Mile is a bigger unit, so we need a number in front of smaller. This time we are going to divide it by 1.6, all right? So 200 divided by 1.6, 125 miles. 125 miles per hour. Miles per hour. That's the speed in miles per hour. Okay, let's continue. Oh, that's the last one. Yeah, let's continue. Let me save this one and start the second section. Save it. Close it. Second section, 8.2, 9.2 right here, is to convert between two-dimensional units, area, and three-dimensional. Yeah, area and volume, measuring area and volume. It has a lot of other knowledge besides converting between two different units. So again, I strongly recommend you spend time to read those information. Yeah, we just focus on this video, focus on answering the question. Use my method, use the conversion factor to answer the questions. And that probably is enough for you to handle the assignments and tests. Okay, so let's go ahead to look at the examples. This example is already solved. You can look at it yourself. And this example, okay. After Alaska, Wyoming is the least densely populated state. The population of Wyoming is only 578,759 people, the whole state. And its area is 97,814 square miles, huge. What is Wyoming's population density? So you want to know population density, the unit that the measurement of population density is people, how many people, number of people per square miles. All right, we can write this way. Square miles, we can write like that, square miles. So we are going to put the number of population, the number of people in the numerator, the number of square miles in the denominator, 79814, and then we are going to operate this division, 759 divided by 97,814. Let's see how we round it. It doesn't say, right? How about let's keep one decimal places. 5.9. 5.9 people per square miles. If we round it up to 6, 5.9 is pretty close to 6. It depends on the rounding instruction. So we can say around 6, right? Yeah, shy 6 people every square miles. Yeah, square miles is huge and only have 6 people. So that is PPL, people, PPL. This is the first example. Second example, there's this national seashore is 40 miles north of San Francisco. The national park consists of 75,000 acres with miles of surf-washed beaches, forested ridges, and bays bordered by white cliffs. How large is the national seashore in square miles? So basically, we are converting 55,000 acres to the equivalent square miles, right? Okay, then as I said earlier, this type of question, they will give you the information that you need. You don't have to memorize. Let's see where we find the equation between acre and the square miles. Acre, square miles. Let's go up. Oh, right here. If you can remember it, of course, it's good. But if you don't remember, I can assure you that the problem normally give you those information. So 1 square mile is equal to 640 acres. Let me write it down. 1 square miles equals 640 acre. So 2 units, miles and acres, they measure the area. Which unit is smaller? Acres is smaller, right? Because the number in front is bigger. Yeah. Miles, a square mile is bigger. Acre is a smaller unit. So we are converting from acre to square miles. This is a bigger unit. Bigger unit. So we want this number smaller. We want the number in front of it smaller by using 640. So how do we make the number smaller? 2, 3, we divide by, right? Yeah, because square miles is a bigger unit. So we want a number in front of it smaller. How many times smaller? 640 times smaller. So we use 65,000 to divide by 640. We would have to round again. If we round it to the nearest whole number, 170 square miles. Okay. And this is some basic approximate conversions for units of area. This table, square yard, square meter. Let's look at this example. A property in Italy is advertised as $445,000 for 6.8 hectares. Hectares. Give me 1 second. Let me see how do I pronounce hectare. Hectare. Pronunciation. Hectare?
Hectare.
Hectare. Hectare. No hectare. Hectare.
Hectare.
Hectare. Okay. So let's go back our note. So we go from hectare to acre, and the conversion is right above us, right above the problem, right here. 1 acre is around equal to 0.4 hectare, HA, hectare. So from the given information that you know, compare with acre. Is hectare a bigger unit or smaller unit? Is a bigger unit. The reason is because 0.4 is smaller than 1. When the number in front of it is smaller, then the unit is bigger. Okay, so we are going from hectare to acre. Acre is a smaller unit. Okay, so 6.8 HA. We go from that to acre. Acre is a smaller unit, so the number in front of we wanted it to be bigger. Okay, so how do we use 0.4 to get a bigger number? Use your calculator. If you multiply 6.8 by 0.4, you will get a smaller number. So in this case, we have to divide it by 0.4. Okay, from HA to acre, we divide by 0.4. Let's see what do we have. 6.8 divided by 0.4. 17 acres. And now you know if that property expensive or not expensive, right? Yeah, 17 acres. You understand how big that land it is. Part B, what is the price per acre? So the total price is that. So it's for 17 acre. Then we just use per. By the way, per means divided by, okay? Yeah. So we're gonna use the total price 545,000 to divide it by 17. And unit price is around equal to 32,059. 32,059 dollars per acre. Okay, it's just it doesn't specify what kind of property with fixtures, with buildings on it, or just the land. As the land is pretty expensive, 1 acre. All right, so let's continue. Those are about the volume, three-dimensional concept. Please take time to read those information. Very interesting. And let's see this example. A swimming pool has a volume of 22,500 cubic feet. You will see the unit for the measurement that measures volume or capacity normally has a cubic feet or cubic meters, cubic miles. Yeah. So we can write that as ft cube, right? Cubic feet. How many gallons of water does the pool hold? Obviously, this is from cubic feet to gallons. Okay, capacity. Let's see the equation, that conversion equation that connects cubic feet and gallons. Cubic feet and gallons right here. It is given 1 cubic foot is equal to around equal to 7.48 gallons. Right? So 1 cubic feet is around equal to 7.48 gallons. So the conversion factor here is 7.48. And among those, between those two units, which unit is smaller, which unit is bigger? Gallon is a smaller unit. Okay, gallon is a smaller unit. So we want a number in front of it bigger. How do we make the number bigger? We multiply. 22,500 cubic feet. Yeah, from feet to, it's going to be approximately equal to. 2 is equivalent to gallons, equivalent to gallon, number of gallons. So we multiply 2,500 by 7.48. We get a larger number, 168,300 gallons, because gallon is a smaller unit. The number in front of it must be bigger. How much times bigger? How many times bigger? 7.48 times bigger. Next question is between the metric system. Yeah, similar with the dimensional linear conversion. This is a three-dimensional. Let's see this problem. An aquarium has a volume of 36 cubic centimeters. How many liters of water does the aquarium hold? So from cubic centimeter to liters. From cubic centimeters to liters. Okay, so we can use the given table to get that done, get this problem done. 36,000 cubic centimeters is 36,000 milliliters right here, right? Yeah, one cubic centimeter is the same with 1 milliliters. So we go from cubic centimeter to milliliters first, like find a bridge. Even we don't have the equation, conversion equation connects the two units, but we can find a bridge and then go from cubic centimeter to milliliter, and then go from milliliter to liter. And milliliter, remember, milliliter is 1,000 times smaller unit than liters, right? Yeah, capital liter, milliliters. So we're gonna move the decimal point to the left 3 times, because 1,000 milliliters is 1 liter. So 36,000 milliliter, of course, gives us 36 liters. So the aquarium can hold 36 liters of water. Next example, a physician orders 10 cc. You might see cc a lot, like some hospital shows, medical shows. Someone need a blood, right? How many cc? So in the United States, cc means cubic centimeters. cc refers to cubic centimeters. All right. A physician orders 10 cc of the drug Lexapro, used to treat depression and anxiety, to be administered to a patient in liquid form. We have 2 parts. Part A, how many milliliters of the drug should be administered? So from cc to milliliters, right? From cc to milliliters. Let's see, we have 10 cc given, that is given. cc is cubic centimeters. And now we need to go from cubic centimeter to milliliter. Look at this table. Actually, it's the one right here. Yeah. So 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliters. So you can understand that the conversion factor is 1. So either multiply by 1 or divide by 1. It doesn't change the number in front of unit. They are the same big, right? Yeah. So 10 milliliters. 10 milliliters of the drug should be administered. Part B, how many fluid ounces of the drug should be administered? So we go from milliliters to fluid ounces. Let's see, fluid ounces right here. As I said, normally those information would be given in the problem. So the connection between fluid ounce and milliliters is given. So 1 fluid ounce, FLOZ, 1 FLOZ is around equal to 30 milliliters. 30 milliliters. Okay, so among those two, between those two units, milliliters is a smaller unit. Fluid ounce is a bigger unit. So we are going to go from 10 milliliters to how many fluid ounce? So this number is going to be, because the unit fluid ounce is a bigger unit, so this number going to be smaller. We would have to divide by 30 to get a smaller number, right? If you multiply 30, then you get a large number. It doesn't work. So I have to divide by 30. So 1/3 fluid ounce. And you can convert to decimal as needed. Just read the question carefully, the instruction. All right, so that is the last question of, let me fix this, of the second section. Measure area and the volume. So let me save this and then we start the last section. As you can see, all those problems are about converting from one unit to the other unit, right? And you really don't have to use the method that our textbook gives. That method is difficult. Is difficult to most of students because it uses fractions. And try my method. Once you grasp my method in real world, so in real world, if you need to convert, you're gonna get a paper and do the fractions. It's not convenient, right? So you wanna know just to find a factor, conversion factor, and then know you're gonna multiply or divide by the conversion factor. You can get it done very quickly. Okay, the last section of this chapter, section 9.3, we are going to see how do we measure weight. Pound, grams, right? Yeah, pound is a unit in English system. Grams or kilograms are units in metric system. And let's go straight to the problem. Convert 8.7 decigram to milligram. So this is a conversion within metric system, right? And now you see this again. You see that? You see this again. If you remember the meter, the graph about the meters, like a linear measurement, and you would have no problem to just understand this part. So look at where is the decigram. Decigram is this here. Milligram is right here. So we go from decigram to milligram, right? Go to the right twice. Then just move the decimal point to the right twice. 870. Here we go. Done. Make sense of the result. Milligram is tiny unit. So the number in front of it has to be bigger. How many times bigger? 100 times bigger compared with decigrams. Part B, convert 950 milligram to gram. Okay, let's do the same thing. We go from milligram to gram. Grams are here. So this time we go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 3 times, right? And we do the same thing to decimal. Move the decimal point to the left 3 times, 0.95 grams. Because grams is a bigger unit compared with the milligrams. So the number in front of it must be smaller, 1,000 times smaller, because gram is a unit 1,000 times bigger than milligrams. And let's see, the kilogram is a common used unit in metric system, and liter is also metric system. Also about water. So remember this relationship can be extended to include the weight based on the following. 1 kilogram of water has a volume of 1 liter. That's good information to know, right? That's good information to know. Next question. An aquarium holds 1/4 cubic meters of water. How much does the water weight? Okay. So look at the table right above it. We go from cubic meters to how much does the water weight? So that doesn't specify the unit for the weight, right? So we can do 0.25 cubic meters is because 1 cubic meters water weight 1,000 kilograms, right? So kilogram is a smaller unit. You can see that as a smaller unit. So the number in front is going to be bigger, 1,000 times bigger. So 250. Move the decimal point to the right 3 times. 250 kilograms, and that is 1/4 of a ton. It doesn't say what unit for the weight, but this is good enough. 250 kilograms. Next question, converted 160 pounds to kilograms. Pounds, lb. The conversion equation is right above it, and we can find the conversion factor. Conversion factor is 0.45. Okay, compare with a pound. Is a kilogram a bigger unit or smaller unit? Think about it. Kilogram compared with a pound is a bigger unit. Okay, is a bigger unit. So the number in front of it is supposed to be smaller. Supposed to be smaller. Yeah, kilogram is a bigger unit. The number in front of it is supposed to be smaller. How many times smaller? 0.45 smaller. So we are going to use 160 to multiply by 0.45. This method, a benefit of this method is sometimes you don't have to worry. I don't know when do we multiply. I do not know when do I multiply. I do not know when do I divide. You don't have to worry. You can try both. And the key thing is you need to know, is the unit bigger or smaller? And do you need a smaller number in front of it? Do you need a bigger number in front of it? Like this question, kilogram is a bigger unit. So the number in front of is supposed to be smaller. So that's how do you know you're going to multiply by 0.45, because 0.5 is a factor less than 1. 160 multiplied by 0.45 gives us 72 kilograms. 300 grams to ounces. Let's see. Yeah, the conversion equation is right here. Okay, erase this previous one. Okay, 1 ounce is around equal to 28 grams. 28 grams. So compare with ounce, gram is a smaller unit. Gram is a small unit. So ounce is a bigger unit. Since ounce is a bigger unit, the number in front of it is supposed to be smaller. Now how do we use 28 to get a smaller number? You divide it by 28. If you multiply 300 by 28, you get a bigger number. Okay? Compare with grams. Gram, ounce is a bigger unit. So the number in front of is supposed to be smaller. How many times smaller? 28 times smaller. So divide by 28. Okay, I'll leave this for you to calculate. Next example. Drug dosage is frequently based on a patient's weight. That makes sense, right? If the patient is a baby or a toddler or adult, so the dosage, of course, is going to be different. Measured in kilograms. For example, 20 milligrams of the drug Diadrenal, used to treat irregular bone formation, should be administered daily for each kilogram of a patient's weight. Okay, so that's the dosage, right? That's a given dosage. For each kilogram of a patient's weight, 20 milligrams of the drug. This can be expressed as 20 grams per 20 grams, milligrams, right? Is this a typo? I think this is a typo. Milligrams. 20 milligrams per kilogram of a patient's weight. Yeah, so based on this, 20 milligrams should be administered daily for each kilogram of weight. How many 400 milligram tablets should be given each day to a patient who weighs 180 pounds lb? Since the unit in weight in this problem is kilograms. We want to convert from pound to kilograms first, because it says every kilogram of the patient's weight, you use 20 milligrams, right? So how do we convert from pound to kilogram? So the conversion factor is 22.2. Let's see. Yeah, right here. Oh no, I'm sorry, not 2.2. If you divide, let's see, 1 divided by 0.45. Yeah, if you divide 1 by 0.45 is 2.2. But the given, the one that we are given, this one, the factor is 0.45. Kilogram is a bigger unit, so we are going to need a smaller number. We are going to multiply 180 by 0.45. And we have 81 kilograms, right? So the patient's weight is 81 kilograms. Yeah, in case, suppose you are a nurse or you are a doctor, and your patient, this patient is 81 kilograms weight, and now you're going to prescribe the medicine. How many tablets you're going to give him? It's something very serious, right? Okay, let's see. For 1 kilogram, you need 20 milligram for 1 kilogram weight. And now the patient is 81 kilograms weight. How many milligrams do you need? We multiply by 20, right? 81 times 20, 1620 milligrams. So that's how many milligrams you need to prescribe, you need to give that patient for that day. And a tablet is a 400 milligram tablet. So you would have to divide 1620 by 400. Yeah, let's divide the number by 400. Is a decimal. 4.05 tablets. I don't know how do the provider handle this decimal, like how do you get a 5% of tablet? If this is a tablet, you cut a tiny bit of it. So 4 tablets and another small piece tablet. Yeah, math-wise, the answer is 4.05. And let me double check the answer. So 180 kilogram, 180 times 0.45 is 81 kilograms. Yeah, 180 pounds is 81 kilogram. 81 times 20 is 1620. And that's how much the drug the patient needs. And divide that by 400. We do have a decimal, yeah. So this many tablets. Okay, so let's go to this is point. Oh, this is the last question. Awesome. As you can see, not a lot of new things that you need to grasp. The only thing you need to grasp is the method. Convert from one unit to another unit. First, you need to identify which unit is bigger, which unit is smaller. And then you decide the number in front of the unit is going to be bigger or smaller. Remember, the number in front of a bigger unit needs to be smaller. The number in front of a smaller unit needs to be bigger. And you use the factor, the conversion factor, to reach the goal. All right, guys. Yeah, that's all the questions on the 3 sections of chapter 9. Now you can work on your homework. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'll see you in the next video.